we've gone to tournaments and there's some really, really itty bitty kids that are competing. And I mean, that's great if that's what they want to do. But especially because like we used to both be competitive swim coaches, kids just burn out really early if you start super early. Plus, they don't always understand or appreciate, in my opinion, as someone who used to be a swim coach for young kids and stuff, they don't always understand or appreciate some of the life lessons that I think they could take away from a sport like jiu-jitsu. I'm not saying wait till she's like 9, but I mean, you know, I feel like that 7 or 8-year-old range is like that perfect time.
Welcome to the show.
What's up, everybody? This is Dante again with another episode of Off the Mats podcast. And this week's guest is friend to the podcast, Paige, BJJ Mama. Welcome.
Woo-woo, thanks. I'm glad to be here. I don't even know how many times we've done it now. I'm like, we're just chatting and gonna let other people listen to it, is what it feels like now.
I think you're almost at the monthly guest point right now.
Nice.
Just about. So I think this is number 5, maybe 6, somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
So I know for sure you have more appearances than anyone else.
Nice. You know, I'm competitive, so I'm going to keep that logged in my mind as we do more.
So runner-up is Maryland Phil. He will be back soon. We're doing a comic book episode soon. So, but I think you're still ahead of him even with his next appearance. So
okay, sweet. So I'm still in first place. IBJJF needs to give me my ranking now for Off the Mats podcast.
I will make sure that medal gets sent to you ASAP. So how are you? How's everything going?
I'm good. Just training. I feel like every time we've talked recently, it's been like, I'm good. I'm trying to get back in the groove. And then like months later, it's like, I'm good. I'm trying to get back in the groove.
I feel like with jiu-jitsu though, even though, you know, we may be back in the groove, we're still trying to get back in the groove.
There's no groove, man. It's just figuring it out as we go. Oh my gosh.
No, that's true. It's very just, I don't know. It's just kind of a flow. We just go with it until, you know, one day it'll click, and then as soon as it clicks, it changes. So we just keep rolling though.
Yeah. I mean, it's been good. I've started doing some wrestling lessons, which has been really cool. And then to also like see the connection of like, oh, this wrestling move and how I could apply it in jiu-jitsu. And then I also feel like, you know, everyone's got their jokes about blue belts quitting and stuff. And now I feel like I'm well into that blue belt journey. I'm like, man, I think I can see why it gets harder. You have to like think about things differently. And a lot of the things that you thought worked, you start realizing, okay, they could be better if I do it this way, but how do I do it that way? Like, I just feel like it's a whole big like mind I don't want to say mind game, but like, you know, it's a whole mind thing now. You're like, oh, I gotta really pay attention hard. It's not just bridge and shrimp anymore.
Yeah, the game definitely changes, and it's subtle. Like, well, it depends, because some people I know, when I got promoted, it was at the start of class, and then we did King of the Hill, the entire class. So there was no easing in. It was like, all right, King of the Hill and Dante, you're going to be on the hill. I was like, oh, shit. And I'm terrible at any form of King of the Hill when I'm down because my guard is just trash. So it's like, all right.
What is your wheelhouse? We always talk about other people's wheelhouse. Like, what's your thing, man? Tell me.
Pressure.
Okay. All right.
Tons and tons of pressure. And that's so when I have to pass the guard, when it's my turn to come up.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm looking forward to it because anyone down there, I'm passing their guard just about. But as soon as I'm down,
So you
I
like the guard passing game and then the top pressure.
Yep,
That's your jam.
yep.
Nice.
But
Okay.
it every so often, I can defend my guard. I can get a sweep in there. It's just, we used to have the stand up rule, which
Oh, hello.
like I love to take advantage of the stand up rule because sometimes you catch someone sleeping, they come walking over to you very like hesitant.
Yeah.
Now I just stand straight up. You're like, okay, and they're out. I'm like, all right, you got to be quicker. You got to step up on me. But for the most part, I might get 2 rounds, maybe 3 if I'm lucky, before I get past. So
Okay.
it's definitely something I need to work on.
What's your like the latest thing what are you trying to insert or work on? What's your
So
homework these days, dude?
right now we're working a lot on takedowns. Um,
Nice. Yeah, I feel like everyone, I don't know, I feel like as the sport is evolving, I keep seeing everyone's like focusing more on takedowns or inserting judo or like I'm doing wrestling and like seeing the bigger picture that jujitsu is great, but other things can lend a hand.
yeah, that's the thing with it too, is that jiu-jitsu, and it's always the argument, especially whenever I post something on Instagram, you get the occasional, person talking about how, judo or wrestling, this or that. And it's like, look, man, for me, I'd say this with jiu-jitsu to everyone. I don't think jiu-jitsu is perfect at all. I
No.
think jiu-jitsu I think it's great, but I think jiu-jitsu also needs a little help, which again comes in wrestling with your takedowns or judo with your throws.
Mm-hmm.
So whenever I think about what I'm doing in jiu-jitsu, I definitely have, I've been focusing on trying to get the fight to the ground. So if it's got to be a single leg, so be it. I'm horrible at single legs, but that's where I'm really trying to focus, is getting better at that because I'm so bad at it. And double legs, I've gotten much better with that, but
Nice.
the single leg is where I'm really trying to focus because it's always available. I just can't make it work.
Yeah, that's so funny though, because for me, I feel like I've been working a lot of the opposite. I've been working on like when someone gets me to the ground, I want to learn how to wrestle my way up to then be on top or to, get the advantages and all the other things, which is just, it's funny because, everyone has their certain things that they're working on and the way they're trying to look at it. I love wrestling. Like, man, I did not think I would like it. I did judo a little bit, and no offense to any of those judo lovers that are listening. It is not for me, man. I don't Made me
No,
nervous. I don't like being thrown. I don't like throwing my friends. I don't like any part of it, but I love the wrestling. I'm really enjoying it. I mean, it helps that I have a really awesome coach, Alex Enriquez, I can't even keep track of all the things that she just won, pans, all sort of things. She's a high level wrestler and jujitsu player and a female, which is awesome too. So just being able to have that female perspective, training, wrestling, all that stuff, she has been awesome, kicking my butt. But mostly, I'm enjoying it. I really didn't think that I would.
wrestling, it's one of those things where there's a flavor to it that it's not for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I think with wrestling, and I always say this kind of jokingly, but I feel like with wrestling, and I know this is going to come out extremely wrong, and I don't care
Do it.
because I say what I say, but it's kind of a bully sport. It's like,
that might be why I like it.
so when you said you liked it, I was like, what? I feel like that's a Paige thing right there. But I love it too.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, you're pushing around. You're
Yeah.
trying to manhandle people a lot. But I think as a female, in a weird way, that's kind of what I like because I don't get to feel like I'm pushing people around normally. And not that I'm a bully, but
No.
that I like feeling like I have that power a little bit.
Well, and that's the thing too, as a female with wrestling in your pocket, that's still a there's still a territory that people aren't, familiar or comfortable with yet.
Yeah.
and there are lots of female wrestlers out there, but people still don't put it in their mind like, oh, she's got a wrestling background. It's more just like, okay, you got females that do jiu-jitsu. Okay, they're probably going for a lasso, they're going for spider, they're going for some of these crazy guards. But then you get a wrestler in there that they can get that fight to the ground, but not just get it to the ground, but now apply top pressure and really make you miserable underneath. And
I think that's what I like about it. If you haven't already, you should go check out some of Alex's stuff. She's done Fight to Win. She's like I said, won some pretty big things. But yeah, I like too that a lot of the females that I meet in general, like even the wrestling, they're applying this, pressure, sport, athlete, and everything. They're all still really cool. I mean, I just think females that do jiu-jitsu are pretty badass in general. And then to have one that does jiu-jitsu and wrestling, I'm like, all right, we're friends. Like, done.
One of my previous guests, she and I talked for a little while, and she's actually one of my teammates as well. I didn't realize she started off as a wrestler.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was fun talking with her about that. But she also explained how, she wrestled in high school. She comes to jiu-jitsu, and she actually kind of abandoned wrestling because where she was initially training at, she's going up against some tough guys, some, also former wrestlers who are also now black belts in jiu-jitsu. And, she's trying to shoot in on them. And it's like, yeah, don't do that. You're going to get yourself killed. Yeah. So she readjusted her game, and she still, has it in her pocket. And I think that's the thing about jiu-jitsu, wrestling, judo is like with MMA, you'll see a specialist like, okay, this is a Muay Thai specialist. And they're going to probably try to keep the fight standing. This is a jiu-jitsu practitioner. They're going to probably try to get the fight to the ground. And, you stay in your lane. Whereas with jiu-jitsu, you start incorporating other tactics. You don't necessarily say, okay, I'm a wrestler and I'm going to just be a wrestler doing jiu-jitsu. No, you're a jiu-jitsu player that's incorporating wrestling tactics and even Muay Thai. My one teammate, he left Muay Thai to come to jiu-jitsu pretty much full time. He still uses the Muay Thai clinch.
My husband did Muay Thai, and I hear him all the time when the other guys that have done it are talking. I'm like, what? Or like he's done Kali and stuff. So just talking about a lot of the different like hand movements and stuff. I mean, I think, jiu-jitsu is great, but I think too, the more you dive into it, the other things that you can bring in from other arts just make all of it better, I feel like.
Yep.
I mean, that's one of the big things with wrestling, why we did it. Just competing, obviously from a competitor's standpoint, it's good to add it. It helps me with the start of matches and all that kind of stuff. So I'm excited to actually have a tournament now that I've been doing the wrestling, and just to kind of see where it all plays out. All right, I hear you. You hear me?
Yep.
Cool.
I had to throw the headphones on because I was like, I don't know if you're picking up off the speakers into the microphone. So I was like, let me just cover bases. I don't know. I've been doing this for a year and I still don't know what I'm doing. I just figured out today as I'm looking at, hey, how do I make the sound quality better? And it's like, oh, if I click this, and that, it'll sound like it's in the studio. Okay, well, so we're going to test that out. I look, people can hear it, and that's the important thing. So
I feel like it's funny you say that you're like been doing it for a while. I'm just, now picking up on stuff. I just started doing random little things when I do my Instagram posts that I'm like, why didn't I start thinking of this? Where like I save all my hashtags in a note on my phone so that I can copy and paste. Mind blown. Why did I not do that?
I just started doing that last September or October, maybe.
Oh my God.
It's just, because it used to auto-populate at one point.
Oh, yeah. Now it doesn't. It has to only be 30.
Yeah, it's all this goofy stuff. So, yeah, I have a note. I have to set up another one for our other podcast, because when I do post there, I have a different set of hashtags. And and every time I do hashtags, so they're changing because I don't remember what they were. So I'm just like, I don't know, hashtag beer. Is that
Exactly,
right?
me too. I just look at the picture and I'm like, hashtag blue walls in the background,
Yeah.
couch,
Like,
jujitsu, mom life. Like I just randomly, but no, it helps to like actually have a cohesive set of like regular hashtags you use. I feel like it helps with your engagement too. So because
mhm.
people start seeing you regularly in the same places that you're doing the hashtag. So
Yeah. I looked up the BJJ Wiki hashtag the other
oh
day, and
yeah. Oh my God.
it's
Was it good?
hashtag a lot, not just for me. So
It's great.
it's, I think, from reposts, so people keep the hashtag. So I'm like, all right, we'll run with it.
You
I
should go
just,
hit some of the likes on their stuff. That'll like boost your
oh no,
engagement.
I definitely do.
Yeah.
Um, I also just ventured into TikTok, as I mentioned to you
Oh.
the other day. It's I'm not on the page level with the reels yet.
Oh,
Um,
my reels are so weak sauce. I have
dude, no,
so
they're fun.
many. Thank you. I have so many that I want to do, but they legit, the people that do these good ones, they take so much time. Like I told you, I want to do the one where they play like the music slow and then they change their outfit a bunch. But like,
Mhm.
dude, I don't have that kind of time to like
Yeah,
I gotta change the outfit. I gotta replay it. Like I gotta make sure it's all synced up at the right time. I just like doing those voiceover ones now. That's my jam.
it works. Like I said, when I click onto reels, you're one of the top ones that comes up. I think just in my searches in general,
That's
your
good,
reels come
right?
up
I
right
don't
at the
know.
top.
That's good, right?
I assume it is. I don't know. I
I don't
mean,
know. I was getting coffee the other day at the Cuban coffee place, and the girl there, she was so funny. She was like, "You must be doing something good because you always pop up on the discovery section in Instagram." And
yeah.
like, she said it to me like it was something exciting, and I was like, "Oh, cool. Thank you." Like, I don't
Like,
know.
just like, sure, some might brag, not me, but
I
okay.
know. I just post a lot of this stuff. I mean, I do it's still fun. Like the main
Yeah.
goal is that it's still fun. I'm not like totally stressing myself out. And now that I've got like, copy and pasting some of the hashtags and like but I don't have any kind of crazy like schedule of like I have to post at this time. I'm like,
Yeah.
let's see if Instagram likes this or not. Whatever.
So it's funny because with Instagram, I have a set time that I do post, but with TikTok, I'm just like, you know what?
Yeah. Well, it's
Okay.
fun for now. Yeah.
Yeah. And with TikTok, honestly, all I'm doing there is I'm taking the stuff that I'm posting on Instagram,
Yeah.
I'm just editing, the videos over there with different music and, just working with the filters and stuff. And it's
Yeah.
nothing special. It's nothing spectacular at all.
That's how
Uh,
I feel about my reels. Like I'll post some and then I also try to like take little breaks so that I'm not like overwhelming people with just like videos of me being me. Like that's not always great. Sometimes people want to learn something or know something. So I try to like, okay, the world has seen you work out enough times this week. Let's take a little break, post some food maybe.
well, I think a good mix, definitely helps.
Yeah.
So like I said, with mine, I have no idea what I'm doing. More so on TikTok. I'm just like,
Yeah.
I'm going to take this. Like what it usually is if I get a song stuck in my head, then that's what I
Yeah.
do. I'm like, I've been listening to a lot of Duran Duran lately. So it's like, okay, like Duran Duran and 70s R&B. And
Nice.
I'm just basically, as I'm sitting there with a song in my head, then I'll go back and look at the videos from the day. Like, I
Oh, and you put
think
it, yep, nice.
it's like, that's going to work with this one. So I think I've used Duran Duran's Notorious like 3 different times now. People are probably
Nice.
sick of it. And Reflex, I think I've used it twice now. So people are probably just like, okay, enough. There are other
Yeah,
artists.
I'm
Like,
the
please.
same with the Beyonce, like Girls Run the World, or like
Yeah.
Rihanna's work. I'm like, I think I need to pick a different inspirational song about like females working hard. Like I need to spice it up a bit.
It's and it's funny, like, so when I had Zach on the other day, we were talking about music, and
Yeah,
I really got into it. I was just like, because I love music. I love talking about
yeah,
music. Like I love breaking it down, just getting to the nitty gritty of it.
Me too. I'm like, honey, listen to this song. And he's like, okay, music doesn't hit for me like it does for you. I'm like, but the lyrics, do you hear what they're saying? He's like, it's catchy.
That's what Sarah says to me. She's just like, I like the song, but I just don't like it the way that you like it.
Right. And then it hurts your feelings too, right?
Yeah.
You're like, ugh.
Yeah, it's fortunately Sophie. She's into it the way I'm into it, so it's just we're on one of those things where it's like, okay, we got this setup now where I'll play. Like she got in the car yesterday with me. What did I have on? Was it Sade? I think I had on Sade. And she gets in the car. She goes, "Oh, Dad, I like your music."
That's so funny.
But either way, that's the kind of what happens with the TikTok with me right now. It's just I get a song stuck in my head and I say, you know what? Let me go ahead and just put this to a video and we'll go from there. But
yeah, man, I hit that 90s playlist the other day on Spotify. I'm so glad that I had my mask on when I was at the gym so that nobody could see me being like jamming and singing. And I mean, I'm sure they thought I was like lifting to something serious, hip hop or something. Nope, it was Christina, What a Girl Wants.
Dude, what's wild is like when that album came out, I remember I went out and bought it. Well, no, I got the single first.
Okay.
Because the singles were available, 90s. You buy a little CD single or
for Tucson, right? Like, oh my God.
And then when the actual album came out, I bought that. And, my friends, we all listen to a wide variety of music, but it's like we embrace the music, but we don't talk about it. But for me, I was like, yo, did you hear that album? And my one buddy looked at me, gave me the look like, not here.
Yeah, like we don't talk about that here. That's like Fight Club. Don't discuss it.
We
all do it. We all listen to NSYNC Bye Bye Bye, but like no one talks about it.
I sing Bye 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 for karaoke. So
yes,
I just, like I said, I love music and I'm glad my daughter does. And, just any way that I can incorporate music into my day, I will. So as I learn more and more TikTok stuff, I will toy with the music and toy with these geese and figure something out because I want to have fun with it, but I have to also understand what I'm doing. And not that I'm looking to go viral with anything, but I at least want to be, something, that has some kind of artistic flow.
It gains traction. Yeah.
So either way. So, with getting back into the groove of everything and training and, competitions are opening back up for you. What's that looking like for you down the line?
Well, number one, it's a whole new mind shift. Like, being a parent, we've talked about this before, like being a parent and people wearing masks, people not wearing masks. There can be spectators, but there can't be spectators. And, and I've mentioned this before on other episodes that we've talked, like my husband is my coach. We own a studio together. So it's hard to be like, I want my coach there, but spectators can't be there. And we have a kid. And, if you don't have so just like mapping all that out. And then also just looking at some of the smaller tournaments. I can't remember if we talked about that last time. Like I'm taking a little bit of not hiatus, but like I'm focusing more on the smaller tournaments so I can get way more matches right now versus, when I was a white belt, I did a ton of IBJJF. I did all the opens. I was focused on my ranking and getting, top 25 in the world and all that stuff. So now I'm focused more on, I really just need to have more matches, but finding that balance. So I was supposed to do a tournament last weekend and I ran into it. So funny because this is when I feel like we messaged and I was like, oh my God, I had a mental, like total mind fuck of like, what do I do? I'm registered for this tournament. There was no one I can't remember if I told you this. There was no one in my division.
Mm.
There was no one in the division above me. So I would have had to go up 2 weight classes, and it was out of town. And I think I was only going to get maybe 2 matches. So yeah, it's like, oh, I want to be back at it, but like, we got to be realistic here too.
Yeah.
Like, we going to pack up the family, like, spend the money. So I'm going to do a tournament next month. Well, I guess it's basically the end of this month now. I'm going to do a tournament in July that's here, that's local. So, just trying to get back out there. And again, my husband and I / coach, we were talking about it, and he brought up some really good points, like this new level. We've talked about being at a new level before, blue belt versus white belt, or really just anytime you get a belt promotion, it's like you're starting over again, which I think is the hard part in jiu-jitsu, because in a lot of other sports and a lot of other things, you're like, cool, I did this, I got to the next level, I'm still cool, I'm going to keep going up to the next level. But I feel like in jiu-jitsu, it's like, haha, cool, you're back at the bottom again. Which I think also lends a little bit of a hand to like people that get promoted and then just quit, because you got to feel a little bit like you're starting over again. So it was funny, we were talking and he was like, you really need to focus more on just how many matches you can get. Don't worry if you have to go up a weight class. Don't stress if someone's, because I was worried. I was like, this is going to be my first tournament as a blue belt, and I'm going to get smashed by someone like 3 weight classes higher than me. What's that about? And of course, my higher rank husband's like, it's just jiu-jitsu. You should go out there and just roll. I'm like, oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Sure, babe.
Like, I'm glad he can see it that way. I think you and I are in the same mind spot where it's like, so it is, but it isn't. Yes,
right.
it is jiu-jitsu. You're correct. Yeah. But it's not just a matter of go out there and roll, because, for my mind, when I'm out there, there is, you want to have fun, but there's still a level of seriousness, because there's this thing in my mind lately that I've been going through, listening to Donna Hare and watching his solo drill tutorial. One of the things that, he says in that is, make your, drill with a purpose, make your rolls count, make your drilling count. And, you think that as well and competed. So, if you go out to a tournament and you go against somebody 2 weight classes up, you're new to that rank and you just get smashed. It's like, are you really making that count? Or are you just surviving?
Well, and I'm, I've been doing wrestling now and weight training. So when I say 2 classes up, it was 2 weight classes, and then that was open. So like, anyway, but I will say, I do agree with the fact that I need to look at it. If for me, for my personal journey, I love competing. Jiu-jitsu is the long game for us. This is, we have a business, we have a studio, like I'm going to continue competing. So at some point, if I'm going to compete a lot, I do have to kind of switch my focus. I can't always think I'm only going to do it if I know I'm guaranteed to win, or I'm only going to do it if I'm guaranteed X number of perfect scenarios. I need to shift a little bit and think I need to get as many matches as I can. That's what's going to make me better.
So I think early on, though, like, in the rank, because have you competed at blue yet?
No.
So that's kind of what I mean, though. It's like, if you like competed at blue already, like, 3-4 tournaments, then it's like, just go out there. This is the next step in that challenge. But it's like, this would be the first competition at blue. It's like, let's ease into it, and then the next one, let's just say,
and that's where we kind of met in the middle. I was like, I totally see your point, yes, for long-term growth, but also like, it's my first. It's the first one, but also, I mean, a lot of it really did boil down to like, we've talked before about being a parent and training and being
Yeah.
realistic about like what you're capable of, and also making sure that like my family doesn't take a back seat to me just wanting to compete all the time. Although granted, of all families, we're a jiu-jitsu family, so I'm a little lucky in that respect. You know, husband
True.
and child are both into the sport, so I'm very lucky.
Yeah. That, that's definitely a big factor in there too, where, it's in the household
Yeah.
versus with us here, it's in the household, but loosely. Like
Yeah.
me and my daughter, she's aware of it and she loves doing the little drills that we do at home. She
Yeah.
loves going to the gym. She's not signed up yet. Um, my wife wants to put her in dance first, and
Okay.
things like that, dance, music, stuff like that, and then kind of wait for jiu-jitsu on the later front. And I'm part of me, I'm kind of like, I really want her in there now, but the other side, I'm looking at it like down the road, I think this is a better move. Just, it's a better move in terms of her, sticking with it longer.
Oh,
And
you mean to start her sooner with jujitsu?
like the starter a couple years later.
Oh, yeah. See, that's great. No, my husband and I feel the same way. Like, we've gone to tournaments and there's some really, really itty bitty kids that are competing. And I mean, that's great if that's what
Yeah,
they want to do. But especially because, like, we used to both be competitive swim coaches, kids just burn out
yeah,
really early if you start super early. Plus, they don't always understand or appreciate, in my opinion, as someone who used to be a
yeah,
swim coach for young kids and stuff, they don't always understand or appreciate some of the life lessons that I think
yeah.
they could take away from a sport like jujitsu. I'm not saying wait till she's like 9, but I mean, I
No.
feel like that 7 or 8-year-old range is
Mhm.
like that perfect time. Because even when we
Agree.
do our kids' classes, I think we've talked about this before, we don't even call it jujitsu. I mean, they are doing the moves, they're doing the drills, they're doing the things, but like we don't come in and we're like, today we're going to rear naked choke our friends. Like, we don't do that.
Like, we're gonna choke friends. Wait, which we're okay. Like, no.
Right.
Yeah, we call it tiny ninjas for ours and little ninjas because we are doing jiu-jitsu, but they're also doing a little bit of Muay Thai in there as well.
Nice.
So, and more so for the tinies, it's a matter of, just kind of learning to um, understand what's expected there in the class, but
Yep.
also how to follow the directions specifically for martial arts.
Yeah.
So,
That's
uh,
what we do too. A lot of the focus of the kids program is actually to teach them like the basics of like tie your belt, how to warm
yeah,
up, how to do all those things that then when you're older, you tie your belt, walk on the mat, do your warm up, and then you're ready to learn like what
yep,
is going to be presented in class. And I feel like that's important for kids.
yep, I agree. My wife and I were just kind of talking about this today because our program used to, I think, start the tinies at 4, maybe 5.
Yeah.
I can't remember, but now I think right now at our gym, 4 is the youngest we've had, but at
Yeah.
one of our sister gyms, I think they said they, start with 3. And
Wow.
my wife and I were talking about it, having both been preschool teachers. We're like kind of in agreement. Like, if you do that, I feel like if you have a classroom or a class full of 2-year-olds for martial
Yeah.
arts, they all have to be 2. And then
Oh,
if you do
yes.
3, they all have to be 3. 4 and 5 can kind of interchange a little bit, but I
Yeah.
still feel like 4 should
It's
be its
hard.
own thing. But, you know, looking at it that way for us, because again, we're looking at it from, preschool teacher perspective where,
Yeah.
you're not going to have your perfect group. You're not going to have the kids that come in and they know to line up, bow,
Or
warm
they
up.
listen, or they're not grumpy with their friends.
My group today, it was a real challenge. And I came home and I was like, oh, wow, we got to figure out a different approach next week because it's very challenging right now. But that's part of it. When I used to teach, one of the things I loved is week one, when the school year starts, we get a group of kids. This is their first time coming to school, so it's a different environment for them. But give us 3 weeks, and that routine is set. They know what to do. They know what's expected of them, and everyone's moving perfectly. So
Yeah.
that's we'll figure it out at our gym. But as far as my daughter goes, we're probably gonna look at 7
Yeah.
for her to start, and then from there, we'll work on stuff here at home anyway.
Yeah,
But
well, that's the same with ours. Like, she has her little gi, and
yeah,
like she enjoys it. And of course, since we go to the studio a lot, like she'll have her daddy and me classes, just the two of them. But also, we're
yeah,
not trying to push anything. Like,
yeah,
anything she has asked for. Mommy, I want a
yeah,
rash guard. Mommy, I want a new gi. Mommy, I want a belt.
yeah,
Like, none of it has been like, okay, we train, so you're gonna train. This is what's
yeah,
happening. Like,
yeah.
we just let it happen.
Yeah, that's the big thing with us is if she wants to do it, that for sure. Like with jiu-jitsu, she's asking about it, but she's also she just loves to dance. She loves to sing. And my wife's like, look, I want to do that first for her. And then,
Yeah.
we'll jump to jiu-jitsu later. But I don't disagree with her. Part of me's kind of bummed because I like for her to come out there and she'd be in my class.
Oh,
But
yeah.
at the
Hey,
same,
that is sometimes hard.
yeah, yeah. Well, and I've always joked. I was like, I don't know that I can coach my own kid,
It
but
is. It's
I
hard.
I have a hard time coaching friends. Like,
Yeah.
well, because I'm like, if you come to the gym and I got to work with you and you're new and I don't know you, there's a different approach that I take versus if you're a friend and I know you, I
Yeah.
know the bullshit. So, if you're like, oh man, I'm tired. No, you're not. You're
Yeah,
not
you're like,
tired, but
suck it up. I've seen you
like,
work out before. You're fine.
yeah, it's like, get out there. Come on, run. Like
That's so
her.
funny. It's the same with my husband and I, though, since we're married and he's my coach. Like, sometimes I feel like I get the brunt a little more because he's like, your shrimp is not this, or your bridge, or why
Yeah,
are you not doing this, or how come you didn't that? And then someone else will do something who will like, that was good. And I'm like, what? I did good. What? Excuse me?
mine was good too. But that's how I am with my friends. Just like I work
Higher
with them on.
expectations because you know what they're capable of.
Exactly. It's like I work with them on Sundays one-on-one, so that's part of it too. It's like, look, you're getting one-on-one attention, and we're going
Yeah.
over the basics. Like we're not doing anything advanced because, like, I can barely do advanced stuff myself, so I'm not going to try to teach it. But we're
Yeah.
going to go over basic stuff, like brand new stuff, and I know it's a journey and it takes time, but there are also times where it's like, the guy, he's like he flops a lot. If I sweep him, he just flops down, and I get so pissed. Like,
That's so funny because my husband, a lot of times he'll like ask to use me as an example. And this is just from the perspective of the person that may have flopped unintentionally. Okay. Sometimes I flop, but not because I mean to flop. It's because I'm actually trying to pay attention to what he's doing. And then I lose like track of my body control. And then he'll do it. And I'll be like a deer in headlights, like, oh shit, I was trying to watch that move while you did it on me. And now I'm on my butt. I'm so sorry.
this guy, he I don't know what it is with him with the flopping, but I had to really get on him about it.
Like he just doesn't tense up or give you the right energy. He just
Correct.
Like ragdolls. That's what we call
Yep.
it, ragdoll.
Yep. Yeah, and it's extremely frustrating because it's like, dude, like, well, because what I swept him once, and I was explaining to him what we're going to do is we're going to, as I go for the sweep, on your way on the descent should already be looking at ways of countering it or getting out of it, versus if I sweep you, don't just lay there. Would you just lay there if we're in a street fight? He was like, no. I was like, then treat it like a street fight. So he took that to the next extreme. So then I had to,
Too much. Yeah.
it's
Oh
like,
my God,
okay,
that's so funny. That literally sounds exactly like when we do stuff. My husband's either like, don't ragdoll, don't try to rip my face off, Paige rage. Let's meet in the middle somewhere.
so yeah. And the thing is that's what gets me with him the most. Is just like, okay, I know what you're capable of.
Yeah.
Right now, I think you're just doing this to piss me off.
That's
So,
so funny.
or also if he shows up late, it's like I'm just like with friends, I'm just so much harder because again, like I
Yeah.
said, I know what you're capable of, but also we're friends, so I know you gotta love me because
Yeah, right? Like I'm gonna call you out, but we're still friends.
like you're gonna get mad, and then in 2 weeks you're like, hey, you want to go get a beer? And I was like, yeah. Like, I knew you come back. It's like
Right.
they, when they show up late, I make them do extra laps, extra burpees. That stuff pisses me off because I'm doing it for free. It's
Yeah. Well, yeah.
just my time, on a Sunday morning, just one of those things where it's like, look, and honestly, it's helping me though too because
Yeah. You're
I'm
getting the time
drilling,
in.
I'm drilling the moves too, but it's just like, look, man, if I say meet at this time, it doesn't mean show up at this time. It means we're, starting at this time. And it's like, oh, okay, so we're going to be late today. All right, cool. So the warm ups are about to
Burpees.
get a little bit more obnoxious. So, we're going to do a bear crawl for 3 laps instead of, half a lap.
So next
Or, yeah.
time make him do the bear crawl pools. Have you guys done those? Where
Oh,
you put him in bear crawl position and
yeah.
then you hold his belt and he has to just drag you down the mat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what? Good call. That's about the, oh my
Those are
God.
good ones. Or have you done the deadlifts with it's sort of like a deadlift. So like the person's laying flat on the mat. This is hard for people listening because they can't see me like trying to show you hand movements of how to do this. I'll do a video, a reel at some point and post it.
Okay.
So the person lays on the mat and you grab their gi and then you have to pull them into a
Oh,
sitting position. And
okay.
then
I
you
think I got
step
you.
backwards and you make them do it again and you lift them up. So you're stepping back, you're working on your footwork a little bit, you're working your grip strength, you're pulling them, and then it's like that deadlift motion, but they're dead weight. You're like
Okay.
trying to lift this person from their gi. It's kind of
So
fun, but also horrible.
is it similar to like, it sounds like it's similar to like Buddy Rose, where like
Probably.
you're like basically, it doesn't sound exactly like it, but it sounds similar, at least in motion, to some degree.
Yeah.
I haven't had them do that yet. We do it
That's
during our
fun.
regular class, but I haven't had them.
We like doing that one. The kids love to do the one where Coach Michael does the bear crawl and then he tries to see how many kids can hold on to his belt and he pulls them across the mat and he's got like 10 kids holding on for dear life.
We do buddy pull-ups where one person's standing, they take 2 steps, and then the person down pulls himself up. They're holding their ankles and pull themselves up. And then you do that the whole way down. I think next time they're late, I'm going to have them. That's basically going to be what the drills are. It's just those 3 moves, and I hope they would think twice, but they're just going to keep showing up late. It's what they do. So it's almost kind of at this point, they're probably doing it for extra like reps now, so they can
maybe
like,
a little extra workout in.
It's like I'm getting strong. Yeah, either way. But yeah, back to the competition.
Yeah.
And everything, and just kind of getting as many roles as you can.
Yeah.
Matters.
And I think too, so like I've definitely approached this next level completely different already, just from like a training, nutrition, like mindset. It's totally different than what it was before. It was so funny. I was actually just talking to my husband today about, we've talked before about like diet culture and body positivity and all that kind of stuff, or at least we've messaged about it and stuff. And it's so funny. I'm trying to eat better, but not totally stressed like I did before, where I would like not eat enough at all. And then I would work my body until I thought I was going to die. And then I would like, oh, cool. I'm 8 pounds underweight. That's fantastic for a tournament. And then you just feel like trash. So now I'm trying to focus on like, eating more and protein, and I've got my meals and stuff, but it's so funny because a lot of times I catch myself. Today I was so grumpy And he's like, what is wrong? I was like, I don't think I ate enough. And he's like, then go eat something. I was like, but I'm trying to eat better. He's like, then don't eat crap. Like, just eat
Yeah.
more. I'm like, I know, but especially as a female, I feel like it's that mindset of like, well, if I'm trying to eat better, I just don't eat as much in general, which is terrible. That's horrible. You know,
Yep.
so I'm just trying to focus more on, and also too, weight training. So like, man, the mental side, and I'm sure it's hard for men too, like with weight
Mm.
classes and figuring out where you are. But I don't know if you saw my post the other day. There was a woman that had posted about a tournament. I don't know what organization it was, but it was an organization that only had 4 weight class options for females and 7 for men. And the weight class was like 113 pounds to 150. And then it was 150 plus. That was it plus. Like those. And then there was, I think, one below that or whatever. So,
Oh,
just trying to not let stressing out about weight come into play when I'm actually lifting heavy weight and trying to eat as much protein and all these things as I can. So, I mean, that's a little bit of a sidebar, nutrition training, but like I'm just trying to have a better mindset at this new level that I'm at. I've leveled up.
well, it's all important though. It all goes hand in hand. So
Yeah.
you can't you know well, for the most part, you can. Some people can get away with it, but for the most part, you can't be like, okay, you work out all the time, but then you eat like crap,
Yeah.
and expect to perform at your best, and vice versa, where people, eat great, but they don't work out and then expect to, still perform at a high level.
Yeah.
It's all a balance that you have to kind of work within.
Yeah.
And, it sounds like, at least you have a good grasp on the ideal of it,
Yeah.
because so
I feel
many
like I do.
people don't. I mean, from what, at least being on the outside looking in, it's like, okay, that's something I need to, look up to right there, and sort it out, because me, everyone knows with me, I love junk food, uh, pastries. I haven't seen a pastry I don't love. And I just discovered apple fritters the other day. Holy shit. Like, my world was we had CPR training on Sunday,
Oh, yeah,
and
that's right.
I hopped into to Dunkin' Donuts to grab a coffee before class started up, and I was like, okay, I don't want to get a donut, because I just feel like I'm not getting enough bang for my buck with a donut. It's like this little, you know, sugary, really hollow thing.
I burn it out in 2 minutes.
Yeah, I'm looking around. I was like, they got this coffee roll that looks neat, but doesn't look like it's going to get the job done. I was like, apple fritter, though. What is this thing? This looks like something I could get behind.
Oh my
So
gosh.
I get one. I had an apple in the car, so in where Dunkin' is in comparison to the gym, it's like a
Oh yeah, I
minute.
remember you said it's really close, right?
Yeah. So I get back, so I get over to the gym. I'm the, second one there. I bring the apple fritter in. It's in a bag, and I have my coffee. I finish my coffee up, so we go on break. So I eat my apple fritter on my break, and I was like, oh wow, that was good. I look at the time. I was like, I can go grab another one. So I run over, pick up another apple fritter, and then come back, crush that. And then I get home, and I tell my wife, I was like, dude, I discovered this thing. Like, like I'm out exploring the world, and I
Right?
found apple
Look what I
fritter.
discovered.
Like I was digging and
The
just found an
Golden
apple
Covenant.
fritter. So then the next day, my wife, she's coming home from work. She works overnight. She texts me. It's like, you want me to grab you a coffee and maybe a sandwich? I was like, can you grab me an apple fritter?
Apple fritter.
So, and meanwhile, you look at the calorie, and sugar
Yeah.
intake on this. It's like ridiculous, but they're so delicious.
Yeah. I think for me, the biggest thing is like trying to make a mind shift of like, that's okay to have an apple fritter. That's fine. But like, and I don't want to sound like that person, that Instagram influencer, but like, it's about moderation, but also not even that it's about moderation, because that's actually less of what my mind shift is trying to be focused on. It's like not beating yourself up for having done it. Like,
Yeah.
and not having more just because you feel bad about having done it. If you legit want more because you do it, fine. But like a lot of times, you feel like, oh man, well, I already fucked up. So let me eat 10 more because life sucks and I hate my life. Right? Like that's not good.
Well, there's also that window of, like you said, you don't want to beat yourself up over it. It's like,
Yeah.
even when, if you're, calorie counting and it's like, okay, I want to stay within this window, but it's like,
Yeah.
okay, today I went 5 over or I went 10 over. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm trash. It's like, no, I mean,
Yeah. Oh my God. I used to be so obsessed with it. And I'm, if you follow me for a second, you'll know because I'm pretty open about this. But like, I used to be that person that if I went over, I would like go for a walk at like 10 o'clock. I'm like, well, I got to burn
yeah,
more because I ate more. Or I would constantly try to burn so many more calories than what I took in that I was always in like an extreme deficit, which actually
mhm,
isn't great when you're trying to build muscle. Like
yeah,
I would literally aim to burn like 2,000 calories just with my workouts, but only take in like 1,200 calories for a day. And then I was like, oh, this is great. I feel horrible. I was so tired. I was bruised like all the time. It was ridiculous. But I somehow felt like it was, again, because that competitive nature that I have, my Fitbit and my Fitness Pal were like this competitive game.
that was another issue that I really, really, really ran into. Before, so years ago when my girl, well, now my wife, but at the time my girlfriend, we had an apartment together, and I would wake up in the morning, I get up, I work out, you know, prep my breakfast, my snacks, my lunch, and everything, and I
Yeah.
would write everything down. It was all kind of guesswork because I didn't have a heart rate monitor. I wasn't able to
Yeah.
track my
But
calories burned,
still,
but it was just a matter of tracking what I was taking in and just understanding that I was working out at 6, like 6:15 in the morning. And I work out right after work, about, I want to say 5 o'clock or so, and then play basketball later on and then go for a run later on. So it's like, I know that I'm
you're
burning more
burning
than
it.
what I'm consuming.
Yeah.
And once I, figured out, oh, wait a minute, I can wear this watch and it tells me what I'm burning and my heart rate and everything. Then it became this competition with myself and this game, and then this obsession. Now, a big issue that I have right now is when I go running or if I get on the treadmill or if I'm lifting, I don't want to do any of that without having some sort of tracker. And I don't, I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm very OCD about start times too. Like I have to start at either 6 o'clock, 6:15, 6:30,
On the
six
dot.
45. Yeah,
Yeah.
it has to be on, and not just start, but it's like I have to press go on the treadmill or I have to start my jog as the
Okay.
clock hits the zeros. I don't it and it's holding me back. I know that. Like I still
Yeah.
do it, but I know the
Man,
entire
take
time
that
I
thing
overthink
off.
it.
Take that tracker off. I had to take mine off because I
Well,
would do the same. Or I would be like, I feel totally done, but I didn't burn 500 calories, so I need to keep doing random stuff. But
so
like,
well, it's not just the tracker though. It's just again the OCD with the time.
oh
Period.
yeah.
Just knowing, like, but I'm that way with clocking in at work. It's
Oh
like
yeah. On
if
the
I
dot.
clock if I clock in at 9:30, I go at break at 2. I can't go at break at 1:59.
To line it all up. That's
Yeah, and then when it comes time to turn in your time for the end of the week, it has to say 40 across.
oh my God.
Nothing extra. If I see that like if I get to work a little early and somebody's waiting for me, then I clock in 5 minutes early, or 2 minutes early. Then I got to make sure that when I clock out for break, it's 2 minutes early. I'm very, like I've talked to my therapist about this once, and she was like, I don't think she's very good. She was like, no, you're all right. I was like,
You're
I
fine.
don't think I am though. Like,
That's so fun. But you know what, too? A lot of it, I mean, I know not all of it is society, but like a lot of it is people celebrate things that they have no idea that are going on. Like I would be at my smallest and people are like, oh my God, you look so great. But like no one knows all the little things that we do, you know what I mean, that go into it. Like no one sees that you have to start at this time or end at that time. Like no one saw that I was like constantly, like I would have my phone with the MyFitnessPal scanner, and I couldn't even like finish my meal until I had like scanned everything, weighed it, marked it. Or like if I was going to go out with friends, I would like plug in the stuff the day before to decide what I was going to eat later so that I could go out later and drink and stuff. Like that's a little next level, but people don't realize that. Like that's not healthy.
No, it's not. I used to do that with when I would go out drinking. I would always think, all right, I can only drink this many beers, or I have to drink light beer, or
Yeah.
I wouldn't take shots, which during that time especially, that was my party phase. So it's like I can't take shots. I don't know if I want to go. That means I got to drink more beers, and then I just
Right.
wouldn't
And you
go out
can't
less.
just like live your life, dude. Eat the apple
Yeah.
fritter. It's okay.
Well, so the one apple fritter is one thing, but
Well, right.
the three apple fritters, that's where we're crossing to some odd
Right. No,
territory.
it's okay. Baby steps. My biggest thing, man, is I drink my calories. Man, give me that Dunkin' Donut iced
Hmm.
coffee. And then I need that little coffee at home during quiet time because it's my me time. Oh, and a bottle of wine. All right, cool. Yeah. Like if
Yeah.
I just switch to water, I would probably lose like the weight of a toddler.
So my wife got me this thermos. I think it holds. I don't know. She said 5 liters. I'm not sure if that's accurate,
Oh my
but
God.
I don't know what I know because I don't know so many things. But
Tell me you
um,
put coffee in it.
what's
Tell me
that?
you put coffee in it.
No. So I have a different one for the coffee.
Okay.
So it keeps
Like
the coffee.
5 liters of coffee. That sounds like my life.
So I love coffee, but I'm not on that level. So when I drink coffee, like I go to Dunkin' Donuts, like, yeah, let me get a medium hot black. It's just
Oh
like,
no, man! I'm like, give me that little white girl iced latte, please.
I'm on psychopath level. I'm just like, give me a black coffee. Sometimes I'll get extra sugar. Sometimes I'll just get sugar. Sometimes I'm just like, let's go crazy. But I have a thermos for that, and it keeps the coffee hot all day.
Nice.
So I like that. But the other thermos, it will keep my water cold for 24 hours, like ice cold. And that's key for me because I love cold water.
Oh
Like,
yeah, you won't drink it if it's not like ice cold.
correct. So, and I've been drinking a lot more water because I bring that thermos in, I fill it up at work.
Yeah.
Because it's cold, every time I go to it, I was like, oh, I want more. And I fill it up more. And I was like,
Right.
dude, this is the greatest trick Sarah's ever played on me. So,
That's genius. So the way I got myself to drink more water because I love like Diet Coke, not because I actually think it's diet anything. I'm pretty sure it's horrible for me. I just like the way Diet Coke tastes. Like I grew up, my mom would drink Diet Coke, whatever. I switched to the LaCroix, I don't even know, the fancy pants bubbly water.
yeah,
And
the one
like,
with the X in it.
yes, the one with the X. I chug that stuff because it just feels like an ice cold can. I pop the top, like you get that little pop, drink it, and I somehow feel like I'm drinking a soda, maybe, but really it's more water. So that
Yeah.
helps.
Every little bit counts. Whatever works for you,
Yeah.
make it happen. Because I'm drinking more water because of this thermos, and
Yeah.
you know, before it used to just be, I bring in a bottle of water, but I have to chug it because that's the only
And
time it's
make
going to be
yourself drink it.
cold.
Yeah. I got one of those ridiculous water bottles that like has all the inspirational sayings on it and the times, that you're like supposed to drink it. And I totally made fun of people that had them. And then I got one. And again, because I'm competitive by nature, we're noticing a trend. It has the times, right? So I'll like make myself chug 2 hours ahead because I
Yeah.
feel like I'm Billy Badass, I'm like, oh, 9 a.m., watch this water bottle. I'll see you at 1. Like, and
I
then I
used,
forget about it until 5 o'clock. So it's.
I used to have the water app on my phone where it would make a noise it would like make like a pouring water noise to remind me to
Oh,
drink
okay. To
like every.
remind you to go drink some water.
And the funny thing is, I would have it would go off, and I would just look at it like
Like,
shut
what?
up.
Right? Like, why are you doing this?
Like,
No, I mean, I've definitely made a shift. Not that we were like big junk eaters in general, but like we like food. Like I'm 100% also, if you follow me, you know I like food and I have no shame about it. But like just enjoying it more, not beating yourself up about it, but also like working out more with the intent to just like work out. It's so crazy now. When I go to the gym, my workouts are so much better. Number one, because I'm way more fueled. You know, I have like my Flex
Yep.
Pro high protein meals. That's my little plug-in. But I legit have my little meals and my little protein snacks. But like my workouts are better because I'm not constantly like beating myself up. I'm eating high protein. I'm eating larger amounts, but I'm drinking my water. And when I work out, I'm not even looking at my watch. Like I just go, I lift, and then we're done. And it feels good. I mean, it makes it a little bit harder than when you have to go register for tournaments and you actually do have to get on the scale and pay attention and make sure, like, especially for me, I have always been that person that's like right in between two weight classes. So I always have to make a choice of like, do I drop 5 or do I maintain and hope I don't gain 5? Like what? That's just me. My body fluctuates and that's fine. But having a mind shift where like that doesn't matter because it just doesn't matter. Go up a weight class. To anyone listening, this is my like PSA to everyone, public service. Like, just register for what you weigh. And if it
Yep.
comes to the change date and you're up or you're down, go up or down. It doesn't matter. That's why they give you a change date. Stop beating yourself up.
Yeah, that's that's again very important. Just doing what you enjoy it. Don't
Yeah.
punish yourself. Don't work out because you hate your body. Work out because you
Yeah.
love your body.
Seriously. I remember the weight class, I would try to be like 7 pounds under without my gi on. And
Hmm.
then I would feel so like sluggish. And now I'm heavier, but because I'm eating better, like I'm noticing muscle tone, but at a larger size, which blows my mind because, you know, of course, we live in a world where we're taught that like if the number is higher on the scale, then you're just fat and obese, and you're
Yeah,
not. And I'm sure there will be some internet haters that are gonna tell me the science, blah blah blah. I don't care. You know, like
yeah.
it's just crazy.
My one of my best friends, when I met her fiance for the first time, like we all met at a sushi bar, and I walk in there and meet up with her. I was like, hey, what's going on? And then her partner, she's sitting over there. The first words out of her mouth is, feel my bicep. So I go over to her, I grab her arms, like, holy shit, what? Like, wow, like, damn, girl. And then she goes, guess how much I weigh? I was like, I don't know. I mean, I want to say she's about my height, maybe a little shorter.
Okay.
So I'm 5'9", so she might be 5'7".
I was about to say, you say that like I've met you in person standing up and I can compare your height to anything. But okay, keep going with your story.
So she's about 5'7". So she goes, guess my weight. And I was like, I don't know. I'm gonna go with 150. Just throwing the number out there. 140, 150. She was like, no, I'm 175. I was like,
Stop it. You just made my day. I'm 5'7" and I'm 175 and I've been beating myself
and
up. You just made my day. Continue with your story.
like looking at her, you wouldn't think to yourself, like, because the question is like when you look at people, it's like, well, what does 175 look like? What does what weight look
Right.
like?
What is it even
Like,
to each person? Everyone's different.
yeah, and it doesn't matter. I mean, she's all muscle. Like she was the kind of gal that would she'd be up all night drinking to like 3 a.m. Then she'd be up at 5:30
At that gym.
at the gym, but not working out because again, not hating her body.
Yeah, she just likes it.
Yeah, she loved working out. She loved to take care of herself, and it was always fascinating because with her, she always maintained around that 175, 185 weight range.
Yeah.
And she looked great. It's like I always try to like get her into jiu-jitsu. I was like, dude, you
like,
have to do jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Like you would like be a monster at this. Come on, please. And then she would, and then I was like, look, at least do me a favor. Can you be She-Hulk for Halloween one year, please?
Right, please.
Like she was like, I don't want to paint myself green. I was like, can you do Wonder Woman? It's like she shot down on my Halloween ideals. I was like, come on, dude, please. I'm living through you.
Yeah.
So
no, that's so funny that you said that though, because before COVID, I would like beat myself up to get to 157, which was, I mean, that's fine. Everyone's different, whatever. I'm 5'7". I've had a baby. Even before a kid, I was never in like super great shape. So I'm in better shape now after having a baby and working out and stuff. But like the weight I'm at now, it's just feels more natural. Like I think I could definitely afford, obviously, to lose a little bit of COVID. You're home. I wasn't able to go to the gym for 3 hours every day when my kid's at school. Like that's just natural. And I'm at the point now where I'm not beating myself up for that. Like, you know what? The script will flip again and I'll be able to do things differently. But just to not beat yourself up about it, but to also enjoy it. Like I feel so much stronger now. Like, I don't know if you saw my post. I went to the gym. I'm so bad at math. I'm so bad. And I put my plates on and I like didn't totally pay attention. And then it was really heavy, but I still lifted it anyway. And I considered taking a little bit of weight off until I saw the dude next to me lifting the same 185 pounds. And I was like, oh, fuck that. I'm not moving to I'm going to do this. Again, Paige rage.
It's like, hey, it's not a competition. For you, it isn't.
With the dude next to me who's like, why are you mean mugging at me, crazy woman? But no, the nice thing is because I'm fueling my body more, I can push a little bit more. Before, oh my God, the first time I did a deadlift was 60 pounds. I was like, oh God, I don't feel good. Like I was so weak sauce. And now I can like deadlift more than my body weight, which I would have never thought I could do.
That's, and that's amazing. And that's just great because, when you hear those stories of people just think like, I would have never guessed that I'd ever be at this point where I could do this. It's always just fascinating to hear it because, we can do a lot as people. It's just, we have to believe.
Yeah.
I keep, I was going through this jiu-jitsu spell where right before everything kind of opened back up here, I was starting to question myself and ask, like, do I really want to do this anymore? I don't know that I can do this anymore. Not because it's hard, but because I just don't feel the push or the drive anymore. I just don't feel like I love this anymore. And once we got back into the gyms and then the ownership changed, I sat and talked with the new owner and I felt really good about it. I felt motivated about it again. I was in love with jiu-jitsu again. Then I had to start having a conversation with myself. I've been blue belt, 2 years now? And I mean, factoring in a COVID year, but still 2 years all the same on the calendar, I'm saying to myself, it's like, dude, like purple belt, like I can't see myself there, but it's like, don't worry about seeing yourself there. Just worry about, working to get there. And purple is my favorite color. So I definitely
want it.
I want that purple belt because it's my favorite color.
Okay. Donatella, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Even
though Michelangelo's my favorite turtle.
Okay.
But
anyway.
But we're gonna go with Donatello.
I feel that. Look, before I got my blue belt, I was a 6-year white belt. That's including being pregnant, being a mom, having a kid. Like I think everyone's journey is different and you just need to embrace your personal journey and try not to measure it against other people's journey. I was just talking with Alex, my wrestling coach, the other day about like some of the different situations that happened to me in some of my very first tournaments that now I'm like, man, I was a punk. How did I fall for that? Or how did this happen? But when I was in the thick of it, in those moments, all I wanted to do was be a blue belt and get my blue belt and get this and get that. And now I have it. And now I'm like, oh man, this is harder than I thought. I need to focus. I need to open up my mind to what I'm capable of. Like the other day I was rolling and I nailed this like really sweet knee slice that I've been kind of working on. And it was so funny. Like I didn't even realize until after it had happened. My husband was like, "Oh man, that was so good. That was so sweet." And I didn't even. I was like, "Oh yeah, cool. That thing happened." I didn't have some like big plan that was the thing I was going to try to do today. But because I've been incrementally trying to increase my game and drilling and weight training and doing things better, it made me better in the little moments. I don't know, that sounds so cheesy, but like, I tried not to focus, oh my God, I really got to make sure I nail this knee slice pass. I worked on it. I've been focusing on it, but I haven't been like driving myself crazy that I couldn't execute it. And then we were rolling and in a really sweet scramble, like I nailed it. And, from there got the submission and stuff. So I think you just have to, especially at blue belt. Obviously, I
Yeah.
don't know what any of the other levels are at, but I feel like blue belt is you've finally got, that colored belt. But now I feel like, and we've talked about it before, like now the real work begins.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
At our gym, that's another thing that we are big on is the knee cut. That's just one of our passes that we're always drilling, always working. It's almost kind of like here, if you are not going for a knee cut, were you even paying attention?
oh, nice.
Like that's how much we work knee cuts at our gym, and it's almost kind of automatic now. To be honest,
Nice.
it's like no one ever really thinks about it. At least not the blue belts. We're not really even thinking about it. It just
Yeah, you
happens.
just do it like it's ingrained. I mean, it's a great pass to do. So,
Yeah,
but that's what I mean though about like the difference in that white belt, blue belt, the techniques, and realizing like I don't know if I even remember really, really drilling that before or even caring about it or thinking it was
yeah,
anything I could execute. But now it's just something that like I'm able to throw in when I need it. And I think that's the difference is realizing that that's a lot of what blue belt is. It's
yeah,
filling your brain with a whole bunch of moves you really weren't totally aware of, but making sure that when you need to, you can rely on it enough. You know what I mean? You're a blue belt.
yeah.
So I'm going to say rely on it enough. We're not brown belts, we're not black belts, whatever.
It's like it's good to have it in your pocket.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
gets the job done.
like I know for me, I learn a lot of stuff to defend. I don't learn most stuff to execute just because I know with my brain, just paralysis by analysis. Like there's just too much in there,
Yeah.
even now at blue belt. But I know a lot of moves. So if you start going for it, at least I know how to start
Yeah.
defending it. Versus if I'm going to try to go for it, I'm like, oh no, what
Yeah.
do I do here? There's too much going on. So I just stick to my basics. Um,
I feel
you
like
know,
that's a lot of what we do too with our training is, and I know all schools are different, but like we definitely are not a school or team that's like, this is our one thing that we do, which I think has helped me in my journey because I've been exposed to so many different things. Like I've gone to other schools and other places where someone is a white belt and they're like, what's a De La Hiva? Like,
yeah,
what's an inverted triangle? But like not that I could have executed those things at white belt level, but I was exposed to those things
yep,
at white belt level. And I feel like that's the importance of, and even if for people listening, whatever, even if your gym focuses on maybe one or two like real big things, it's your job to expose yourself to more
mhm,
and to grow your knowledge base. So I feel like just being aware of what all you are capable of is half the battle.
yeah. That's why I enjoyed prior to COVID shutting us down. Sundays I would open up the gym for open mat, and as long as I got one person there, I don't care. I just want to get in there and drill the techniques from the
Yeah.
day. And what was, before, because coach would give me the key. He was like, look, because I asked him one day, like, hey, can you come up and open up the gym for me? He was like, here, man, just take a key. Leave me alone. I was like,
Nice.
oh, okay,
Okay.
cool. Like, I didn't really want a key. I just wanted to be there so I can drill. And, eventually, we got a good amount of people in there. and wasn't, like anything organized. It was just a matter of, I know for myself, if we went over this stuff during the week, I wanted to go over that stuff on Sunday, but we'd
Yeah.
have a bunch of people come in that were just kind of like, just kind of chaos. And it's like, I'm just here to roll. And it's like, that's fine. Do what you do. I'm here to
Get
drill
better.
this pass for an hour and a half.
Yep.
Because that's, and that's the thing. It's like, I was taking it to a level of psychopath to some degree, where I would drill, butterfly, guard. Like I would drill the basic butterfly sweep over and over and over for 45 minutes. And it just got to a point where, I can, hit that arm drag and, go to the butterfly now, comfortably. But that's the point though. That's why you drill it. So it becomes natural for your
Yeah.
body. And, you get these techniques from class, but like you said, it's your responsibility now to
Yeah.
get that exposure and get those drills in, because if you don't, then what are you really doing?
Yeah. And I think too, I have a training partner, Josh. I've told you before, he's a blue belt, he's a stay-at-home dad, kind of same situation of like trying to train when you can. And when I was a white belt, I took every opportunity to train with him, but all I ever wanted to do was roll with him. And
Yeah.
now when we meet up, we pretty much drill for an entire hour and then do like 1 5-minute roll at the end,
Yeah.
where so we're both blue belts, but he is like more advanced. He's been a blue belt longer. And basically we'll roll, and then at certain points in the roll, he'll like put me in positions where it forces me to do some of the things that we drilled. So I feel like it's a lot more, I guess you would call that positional sparring, or, whatever, where you're
Yeah.
still rolling and sparring, but to meet the objective of like working the drill that you were working that day. And I feel like that has made my jujitsu way better than when I was like, let's just roll all the time. Like, let's just roll. I'm going to grab at stuff and see what I can figure out, And I think that's
Yeah.
the mind shift too, that we kind of talked about from white belt to blue belt. And I think that unfortunately, and again, I'm sure there will be internet people that have their opinions, I think that that's where you end up losing people, because before, I just want to roll and try to choke people. But then when you get your blue belt, you're expected to be able to roll with a purpose or a
Yeah.
goal, meet an objective of accomplishing drills and technique. And I think that some people just don't want to put that work in. They'd rather just roll hard, and if you're not going to let me roll hard and you have higher expectations of me, then I'm out.
No, I agree. And that's something I have seen, around, just even on BJJ Wiki, being on Instagram and talking with people. I've had those discussions with people where it's a matter of just like, roll hard and, you'll learn. And it's like,
What is
yeah,
it? Everyday parada or whatever the saying.
yeah. It's like, okay, I mean, I guess, but me personally, I like to, drill the technique slowly and then kind of pick up the pace a little bit, then
Yeah.
situational drills, and then, kind of get into some rolling in that position,
Yeah.
And then, kind of execute from there, and then get to a point where now I can hit that move or, do it from any point that I want.
Yeah. I feel like it's a lot like, a firefighter. They don't just run around putting out fires. They have to know what they're doing. So they practice and train and drill. You can't just run around rolling all the time and expect to get any better. Like, you have to put the work in. So
Yeah, exactly.
that is my 2 cents on the matter.
Well, we appreciate that. And with that being the case, it is getting late for both of us. And as always, thank you for, hopping on and being the guest with me. Always appreciate you. You got any mentions or shout outs you want to throw out there for us?
Definitely go check out Alex Enriquez. I share a lot of her stuff. She's an amazing jiu-jitsu athlete and coach. Also Flex Pro Meals, BJJ Mama 20. If you don't like to cook, want to meet those high protein meals, those are my jam. Flex Pro Meals. You can check my page, follow at BJJ Mama, and you'll see my code BJJ Mama 20. I think that's the only plug-in for me.
All right. Well, Usually I throw those plugins anyway per episode, so you just saved me one there. But thank you everyone who's been listening. Always appreciate it. Just can't stress it enough. I know I've said it now here for 62 episodes, and I'm going to continue to say it. So
62.
Yeah, it's getting up there. So
That's awesome.
I'm trying to figure out. All right, we got 38 more until we get to 100. So I got to
you got to do something big.
I'm gonna try to figure something out here. But thank you everyone for helping me even get to this point of 62 and getting up to 100. Greatly appreciate it. Big shout out as always to Zach over there at Student of BJJ. Just had him on as a guest last episode and had a great conversation with him. We talked about his new app that he's developing, Champions Keep Score. So please keep an eye out for that. Super excited about it. Also, shout out to the Columpton Social Club. That is my new podcast I'm working on with my good friend Steve. So check it out. Those episodes release every Tuesday. So what's the theme? We don't have one. We just talk. We're just two guys who've known each other for 30 years talking about nonsense and embarrassing stuff. Gray pubes. And big shout out to my guest here today, Miss Paige, BJJ Mama. We always appreciate having her on as a guest, and thank you for being our guest as well. Otherwise, again, thank you everyone. Y'all keep listening, and I'm going to keep on making these. Bye.
Deep with it. Now let me sing a song.